Hi, everyone. Today, I'm talking all about hope with amyloidosis. So, for me, I have AL amyloidosis, cardiac amyloidosis, and that's what I'll be sharing about today. So, if you have any form of amyloidosis, this is going to really be supportive to you, to give you hope and inspire you to keep going. And I really hope that this is going to contribute to you in some way, shape, or form, and inspire you to just stay motivated and positive and always hopeful. So, what I want to share today is a little bit of my journey, some different aspects of what I have, how I've been living, and what's most special is that it's coming upon my 2-year heart transplant anniversary. And so I've been celebrating, and I thought, what better way than to make a video on maintaining hope with this. So, for those of you who don't know, cardiac amyloidosis is sometimes known as stiff heart syndrome. So, what happens is these amyloid proteins deposit in the walls of your heart and making it thick and heavy and rock hard. And that's what happened to me. They also can deposit in the digestive system, in the kidneys, and the liver, all over the body. But most of mine was, at the time of diagnosis, 99% was in the heart. Some was in the nervous system. My digestive system had a lot, and my kidneys, and a bit in my liver. But where I am today, 3 years after having that diagnosis, my kidneys are almost back to normal. Not quite. They probably will never be back to normal, but they're holding out and they're stable, considering that I was almost at the point of dialysis. So that is what the majority of it is. There is no known cause, although the hematologist I spoke with said that from the research he's been studying in Europe, and what's been coming through is related to radiation and chemicals. So, but who's to know? Some sort of chemicals in your body going rogue, and all of a sudden these abnormal plasma cells start misfolding and create like this light chain proteins are misfolding. There's other kinds of amyloid out there, like ATTR and hereditary and different things, and wild type, but that's not what I have. I have the AL version. And what is so toxic about it is that the buildup of this amyloid can cause your organs to start hardening and your blood can't pump. And that's what was happening to me. And so it put me into end stages of heart failure. So I don't want to get totally into all and what it is, because if you're here watching, you probably know a lot about it already. And if you don't know a lot about it and you're just watching and following my journey, you know that I have things like massive shortness of breath and major swelling in my abdomen and my ankles and my legs and my hands and my face, and every single place you can think of, there was swelling, to the point where my body felt like I was wrapped in like a mummy in saran wrap. And it was so painful. And of course I couldn't breathe and walk hardly, even to make it a few steps. So finally, after all of the chaos that went on in getting diagnosed, which was its own thing, I was in the hospital for 3 months at that time, in Vancouver General Hospital in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And during that time of being hospitalized, I had a bone marrow biopsy, and it was sent away because they didn't have the technology at the time. They sent it away to the Mayo Clinic in the US, and then it came back with amyloidosis. So in the meantime, though, there's been so much advances, and I'm just so grateful and lucky to even be here right now, because the drug that I was on that saved me, which is daratumumab, which was a combination of a whole bunch of things, at first because they hit it really hard, and they gave me some really potent chemo a couple times a week to just hit it super, super hard. And the chemotherapy that I'm on now is monthly. So I've moved from 3 times a week to once a week to once every 2 weeks to once a month, and not just in that, in months and months of each one at a time, and now to monthly. So now my blood work is pretty amazing. My BNP numbers are usually around 300 to 400, considering I was at 12,000 when I got diagnosed. So that's like a significant improvement. And I just feel like I don't feel, of course, like my absolute normal self that I used to, but considering how close I feel to that is pretty amazing. I just get really, really tired. I have like a burst of energy in the morning, and then in the afternoon, by the afternoon, I feel a lot better. I mean, a lot more tired. And so then I kind of taper down, and that's how it goes in the afternoon. And like I said, I'm on chemotherapy now on a monthly basis, and it's ongoing. At this time, they say they don't know when I'll be off of it because it's working, so we'll not change something that's working. In the beginning, they hit everything hard with steroids and bortezomib shots that I was getting, cyclophosphamide, and tons of that, and the daratumumab, and all of these other things. I did not have a stem cell transplant. That was told that that would be my last option because of the new drugs that were out and how hard and dangerous that process can be. So I'm pretty excited, and I want to be able to give you hope. I want to be able to say that there's possibility out there. Who would have thought I'd even be sitting here after 2 years after a heart transplant? It's just amazing because when you go in to get a heart transplant, there's no plan B. There's nothing. When they take your heart out, it's gone. It's gone. There's nothing left if the other one doesn't start pumping, if the other one doesn't work, if the other one is nicked, if there's something wrong with it that they didn't notice till the last minute. There's no other plan. And so for me, I just knew that the universe and God had me and that I was going to be okay. And during this time, there was filming going on, and I was being part of this documentary called The Transplant Stories, which is you can watch on knowledgenetwork.ca on Stream It Online. But if you have the channel in Canada, the Knowledge Network, it's actually was so popular that they're doing an encore presentation for again, and they're running it again on the channel. So that's going to be amazing. And if you want to watch, I'm in episode 2. There's 4 episodes, and they're all so good and they blend together. So I would suggest, if you're interested, to watch it all. I'm the only one with amyloidosis in there, but they're all transplant patients of different things. And yeah, it was really powerful. And then because I did so good and was reacting so well to the drugs and the chemo and the transplant, they had asked me to come down for a presentation, that the premiere of Transplant Stories. And so I spoke on stage, and that was really fun with the producer. And that was really significant part of the journey. It was created a space for a lot of healing to happen, and a lot of, I had been on such a deep inner journey for years, even going before this had happened. So I had a lot of positive mindset and did a lot of inner work after going through this and realizing that I had been burning the candle at both ends and running rampant and trying to be the be all end all, doing all these things, and realizing that I wasn't taking care of my body in the end. I was running myself down, and a lot of it was physical. A lot of it was emotional stress. I was going through a crazy time at work with being bullied and harassed, which later on she was found guilty of that and fired. But in the meantime, there was just stress seems to bring the disease on so much faster and more severe, because when I look back at the time that I must have had it and all the different times that I started breathing was off and things were happening and symptoms were happening, but I couldn't put the pieces together. It was a long, drawn out process. But once the stress just started being uncontrollable and just so severe, it's like the disease just went rampant. And so I want to suggest to anybody going through any of this that you eliminate as much stress out of your life as possible where you can. And I know that's kind of crazy and hard to believe, that how would we do this? But you have to really choose yourself. You have to really decide that you're worth it and that you're starting to put yourself first, and that your health and emotional health, mental health, physical health is so important. So important. And you deserve that, to be able to put that first, whether it means quitting the job or moving or eliminating toxic people from your life and negativity. All of that matters. All of that contributed to what I believe the disease blowing up, because that is how I can picture and visualize and look back and see what went wrong, what went south here. And that was a huge part of it, where it just got totally out of control. And so now kind of my lifestyle is trying to be as low stress as possible. I try and limit my salt intake as best I can. Of course, I'm not perfect at it, and I eat pretty much whatever I want now, which isn't the greatest. I need to work on that a little bit more. I don't ever weigh myself, hardly ever. I just know, because of the fluid was so severe, that I just know if I ever get any swelling, and I literally haven't since after about a year after the heart transplant. My new heart is doing so amazing, and I'm so grateful to whoever donated that organ. And for all the other people who are organ donors out there, you have so much potential to save so many people. I do take my blood pressure very often, probably like 3 times a week at least. And I do a lot of meditating and mindfulness. And of course, I have my my Buckridge Homestead YouTube channel and my Create, Heal, Shine YouTube channel. My Buckridge Homestead is kind of like my home life, family, gardening, cooking, my health journey. A lot of it's on there. You can watch the entire playlist of all of the videos that I've done along the way, and be warned, it's pretty graphic. I even have graphic videos on there of my old heart. And I bring that into my Create, Heal, Shine, which is my professional counseling and coaching practice that I have. I have a free community called Create, Heal, Shine that you can find the link in my bio and join, for anybody going through any tough life struggles to becoming a better person. This is for people who want to really change their life, their mindset, and are focused on taking 100% responsibility for their life and become the best version of themselves possible. So I definitely want to invite you to join that if you feel called to. But yeah, I just want to provide so much hope, because, the hematologist told me when I was diagnosed that this new drug was only available 3 months, approved in Canada for 3 months before I was diagnosed. And so if that's something that you have been recently diagnosed with, I believe the most up-to-date drug that they're using right now is daratumumab. And so I would be definitely making sure that if I hadn't been on that before, that I got on that, because that has made all the difference in the world. And so if I had been diagnosed at any other time, I might not be here because of that. But I also believe that healing is possible. I also believe that we change our environment, we change our emotional landscape, we change all of these areas of our life, that anything's possible. And I just had such a determination to live, to see my grandkids be born, to see my children get married, to be around we had just moved and bought a different house. And right now the survival rate for amyloidosis has improved dramatically because of this drug. It's still such an issue with detection. There is no early detection because the symptoms are just so all over the place. I know for me that there was probably 25, 30 different symptoms that were like pieces of a puzzle that you'd never think to put together, that don't even click together. And, I actually diagnosed myself correctly. Well, I didn't, but Google did, when I put in all my symptoms to Dr. MD or whatever it was. And that is the diagnosis that came up. And I remember thinking, yeah, right, I don't have that. That's way too serious. That's like life threatening. I don't have that. And so I just ignored it and went on to hope that it was just something to do with my pancreas or something. And here, after being diagnosed like professionally, the internist, Dr. Aziz here locally, diagnosed me with AL amyloidosis before I even got 3 months before I got the results, that I really was, that thing was right the whole time. So if you ever have symptoms that are all over the place, put them into that. Those things are pretty accurate and they can be scary. I know, because I refuse to believe it. But I think it's just important that I'm trying to advocate that more doctors recognize the red flags and stuff, and more people in general recognize the red flags of this disease. And I'm on a lot of different clinical trials, and I donated my old heart to international research. And it was really neat because when I was in the hospital, healing from the transplant, there was already somebody from Japan that had requested samples of my diseased heart. So that is promising because they're requesting samples so they can create new drugs and find new advances. And so I never believe that, one day this drug will just stop working. I just believe that if it does, there'll be something new out by then. There'll be more technology because I donated, and I feel like I'm helping contribute to science and technology and a cure that I hope one day will come. So that's my little story in a nutshell of where I am right now. I'm just getting ready to go down to Vancouver to St. Paul's Hospital for my 2-year transplant appointment, where I'll get a heart catheter, a heart biopsy, angiogram, echocardiogram, x-rays, and visit with all the transplant doctors and see where I'm at. It's challenging, and there's a lot of painful parts of it. There's a lot of anti-rejection drugs. There's a lot of chemo. There's a lot of medicine. But there's possibility and there's hope. And I don't ever want you to give up. I want you to have hope that there is more for you out there and there's more available to you. And as more and more people get diagnosed, it won't be so rare because a lot of people are living with this and not knowing it. And I just want to say that anything is possible, and that if you believe deep enough, that you will get through. I know you will get through, because it's a lot of this is mindset. A lot of this is giving into technology. A lot of this is allowing ourselves to receive the treatment, receive things, and giving yourself compassion and time to heal. It took me so long to heal, and I'm still healing. But through the thick of it, the real deep healing wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Anyway, feel free to reach out to me and comment. And if you have any questions, leave me a question. And if you'd like to join my free community called Create, Heal, Shine, there'll be a link in my description box as well as in my bio of my channel. And I hope to talk to you soon and connect with you. And don't give up. Bye, everybody.